everyone, I'm Kari Lane and welcome to Chat with Kari on Diya TV. With me today is Maliakel and Shobha Narayan, two South Asian actors portraying the iconic roles of Aladdin and Jasmine on Broadway for the first time ever. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So Aladdin, let's start with you. How would you describe your journey as an Asian American performer to reach the stage in your career where you're playing such an iconic role? And also, this is your Broadway debut. So congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is incredible. And it still feels surreal to be able to say out loud that I'm playing Aladdin on Broadway. My journey has been sort of unconventional, I guess, as a lot of people who are from, underrepresented backgrounds in this business. I grew up singing in choirs and doing a lot of classical music. This was one of my first voice lessons. This was my first exposure into the arts. And beyond that, I went into a little bit more of the theater world, doing shows in high school, and then in college, I ended up studying classical music. So my degree is in voice. I found the way that I found my way into the theater world was through originally through the stage adaptation of Mira Nair's Monsoon Wedding, which is still in the works. Hopefully will be coming to New York in the near future. And that sort of lit the fire under me to pursue this career full time. Very, very excited to step into the iconic role of Aladdin. The movie was such a fundamental part of my childhood growing up in terms of having, a hero to look up to that looked like me on screen. There were very few examples of that, unfortunately. So to now say that I wear the street rat pants every day is a full circle moment. Really, really grateful.
Aw, I love that. Such a fun visual to watch the child to the man and now being on stage.
Oh, man, it's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah.
Then for Shobha, as an Indian American performer, what does it mean to be the Jasmine? It is such an icon to millions. That character is such an icon to millions of girls worldwide.
Yeah, I also still can't believe that is a sentence I get to say out loud. I mean, it's crazy. She was a role model to me and so many women, but in particular for South Asian and Middle Eastern women who didn't really have much to look to in the media growing up. And I mean, not only was she there, it was everything that she stood for. It was the fact that she was so strong and smart and willing to question authority and had a desire to rule. And that was not commonly seen when we were growing up. So she was a huge inspiration to me. And it's crazy now to be stepping into the role and representing her. And the reception has been pretty mind-blowing. I'm hearing from women, older and younger, literally everything in between, that seeing me in this role means the world. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Aww. Yeah, that's such a great feeling to get that. And it's wonderful that you get that feedback from people who've seen the show and you get to see that how much of an impact you're making. Michael, we talked a little bit about, you mentioned a little bit about growing up, but who were some of your favorite characters growing up and what were some of your favorite stories?
My favorite stories, the Disney empire has been hugely influential to begin with. Aladdin certainly specifically was, we had the lunch boxes, we had the pajama sets, we had the bed sheets. It was a whole thing. There was nothing casual about our household's obsession with Aladdin. Beyond that, I really loved the music was what really attracted me to most of these stories, and the way that they interwove the songs with the storytelling. That was my first kind of impetus to want to do this for a living. I think if I had to pick my favorite Disney score, it would probably be Hercules. No offense meant to Aladdin, but those songs are just incredible. I think What's so special about Aladdin is that he's sort of the underdog. There's a lot that's working against him in the story, and despite all of that all of the odds being stacked against him, he comes out on top. The heart of gold really wins at the end of the day. The good guy wins, which is something that really attracted me to that story.
Well, definite parallels to Hercules, so I can see where you're going there.
Yeah.
Please tell me there's going to be some more Throwback Thursdays, Way Back Wednesdays of pictures of these childhood moments.
Oh man, yes, we got to cook up some of those for sure.
Yes, that'd be cute. You need to go dig in the archives of actual photos. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yep, they're there.
Oh, well, we the audience would love to see them. That sounds adorable. Shobha, what has been the hardest or most challenging part of portraying Jasmine?
Oh my gosh. I think I wouldn't say that this was particularly that big of a challenge for me, but I think that this character is written in such a way that it can be easily be made to be a little I don't want to use any bad words, but the B word, and a little annoying. And I had to be mindful about my approach to her because of the way that it was written, to make sure that she's grounded and sure of herself and strong. That's just something that I had to keep in mind as I continued to explore the material. The other challenge is just being back after 18 months of being on pause and doing this 8 times a week in the middle of Manhattan. It's a lifestyle that we haven't lived in some time. So just getting my body adjusted to this schedule again has been a challenge.
Michael, what about you? Now, what were some challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge for me with this particular role is that he's really hardly ever off stage. It's sort of a marathon from the get, and both in like a vocal stamina kind of perspective, but also physically, it's a very athletic kind of track. He's jumping off of buildings. We're flying on carpets. There's a lot of dancing involved. So for me, especially coming out of the pandemic, where we've been a little bit more sedentary, was just sort of conditioning my body to be back and ready for it. The scope of an 8-show week is really demanding, and I think adjusting our lifestyles to just be really cognizant of conserving our energy and staying fresh and ready for every show every night that's been a big adjustment. And then beyond that, I've just been gearing my sort of gym routine towards more like aerobic athletic activity that keeps me in a good conditioned spot to stay primed and ready for this little marathon that I do every night.
Well, yeah, performers, you're essentially athletes. It's just a different kind of athleticism that people aren't maybe as accustomed to. You're singing, 100%. You're dancing, you're running around. Yeah. Yeah.
And you should see the rest of our cast. Like, they all look like legitimate athletes. Like, it's just
like Greek gods.
Like, honestly, it's really kind of incredible.
All right. And then lastly, real quick, as South Asian performance artists, how do you define this moment in your career?
Hopefully this is the first of more instances like this to come. That's, I think, how I define it.
Yeah, it's huge. It's been really amazing to connect with audience members and fans over social media, just to hear how significant this moment is in terms of seeing representation on big stages like this. I certainly hope that this is just the beginning of so much more, that someday it's not something that we even need to remark on, that it's, why shouldn't our stages look like the world that we live in? I leave the stage door every day and walk into Times Square, and it's just a total rainbow of every creed, race, ethnicity, gender identity, whatnot. And I think there's no reason why our stages shouldn't look like that. So I think the gravity of this moment of having us in these roles is certainly special, and it's a huge responsibility to represent our cultures and the voices of the next generation, to set a good example for them. And yeah, hopefully it's just the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. Now we're at the end of our time. So thank you so much for coming on Chat with Kari on Diya TV. Wishing you both continued success.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm Kari Lane, and I'll see you next time.